Hi guys, John, Comics It's Outdoors. I want to show you something you can do really cool with a 50-foot piece of paracord. I already have the pieces cut. Didn't figure I need to bore you with finding and cutting some pieces of wood to make this. So let me pick up the camera and walk you around and show you what I got, and then set you back down and put it together. Okay, first thing is I threw together 2 tripods. And the reason I did this is just to show you another option, and I'll explain that in a minute. I used a few feet of bank line to put those together. Then I have 2 poles, a couple pieces there. I'll show you in a second what that's for. And this big tree, I have 2 branches with a Y on each end, or a Y on the end of each of them. I'm propped up against the big tree here. So let me put the camera down and I'll put that together and show you what we got going on. Try to do this with being as not shaky as possible. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up those poles. Sorry, it won't stay where I want it. First thing I'm going to do is I have this piece here. I'll set that across these 2 tripods. And then each of these long poles, one goes there, one goes there. Same thing on this side. Set it in that Y against the tree. All this piece is a spreader down here. Okay, so let me show you again what we got now. We'll put a crossbar across our 2 tripods for these 2 poles to rest on. And then I've just added this piece in to keep them spread apart. Not totally necessary, just a little extra help. On this end, they just set in the Y, and this is just simple leverage. I have the pole with the Y at an angle. It's not hammered into the ground. I just shoved it in the ground as far as I could by hand, and then you set this pole in there. So the downward pressure on this pole automatically pushes down, which in turn causes the Y to push against the tree. So it'll hold it there without any cordage. So what I was saying about showing you another option with the tripods is, if you haven't figured it out, I'm making a raised bed, and if you were to find 2 of these big trees close enough together, you could use 4 of those branches with the Y and need no cordage. You wouldn't have to cut all these pieces for tripods. On the other hand, if you can't find a big enough tree, period, then you have to have 4 of those tripods. What's the advantages of what I'm trying to show you here? Getting off the ground could be helpful in numerous ways. If the ground's wet, if you're in an area with a lot of snakes, we're going to want to set you up here closer. You're trying to get up off the ground away from predators. I mean, you could go higher than this if you had a way to climb up in the trees and do it. But for the most part, gets you off the wet ground. and it's more comfortable. So, in the last video I just put up a little while ago, I showed you how a good way to store 50 feet of paracord. This is the same 50-foot piece. And what I've told you before about if you have a loop, instead of feeding all 50 feet of this through there, you can pull it through itself and make a loop. Well, I could do that because this isn't attached. I could slide it over. But if let's say it was attached and you wanted to put something on there, use some common sense. Okay, I have a loop. How do I get it around that? What if I just make another loop big enough for this to fit through? I just pull all my cordage through there. Another thing you're going to want to think about if you're going to do this is you want most of your support from your shoulders to your knees. Now if you stand straight and put your arm down, that's the length of your arm. So you want the majority of your support the length of your arm, starting at your shoulders. So from here to here is where I want most of my support. My legs aren't going to be that crucial. I only need a couple wraps down there. So all we're going to do, and I'm not even going to wrap this real tight. The tighter I wrap it, the more it will suck these together and make it narrow. It doesn't have to be real tight. Hopefully we can do it without my cord getting too tangled up. Okay, again, so we're going for the length of my arm with the most support. And that's probably about right there. So then the rest of it, we can go much bigger spaced. And on the way back, do your wraps opposite. So if you've got a gap, fill that gap. And on the end, I'm just going to tie it all with a square knot. So you see, maybe you can see, hopefully, most of my wraps are from here to here. Then I have a few down there for my legs. Last thing I'm going to do is take this stick and set it across the top. Make sure you can see what I was doing there. So we've just wrapped back and forth. Again, majority of the wraps from your shoulders to your knees, and then you can see how they get thinner down there in the legs. You don't need as much support down there. And then I've just set a branch across the top. So now you're going to see if it holds me. Hopefully you can see me there. Okay, other than the fact that this left branch is flexing more than the right branch, and this pole up here I put there just so I can slide it down and have a headrest, a solid headrest that'll hold my head up. And that's pretty comfortable. I could sleep there for sure, off the ground. So like I said, this left branch on my left side flexed a lot more than the right side did. So something if you wanted to, you could do. I was going to do it, and then I decided I probably didn't need to. Would be to have some support sticks in the middle. To keep those branches from flexing. That would have probably leveled it out a lot better. And we'll go ahead and leave it in there. Alright guys, try to keep it fairly short enough to watch. Actually, I'm going to do one more video with this, and I'll show you how I would throw up a tarp over the top of myself. So if you like that, check out the next video, see how it is when it's finished up. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. More videos coming soon.